What's going on, my friends? Matthew Loop here. What I wanted to do real fast is share with you something really powerful. I was thinking about this as I was reading a childhood tale to my son called Jack and the Beanstalk. Maybe you've heard of the story. When I was younger, I thought it was a really fun story about Jack, who his mother sends him to the market to go actually trade the cow in for cash because they're so poor. Well, Jack goes in there and he finds this old man that wants to give him magic beans in exchange for the cow. Jack thinks it's a fantastic idea, so what does he do? He makes the exchange. He goes home, and his mother is livid. She's really pissed because they needed the money to survive. So she ends up sending Jack to bed, throwing the beans out the window. Next morning, Jack wakes up. What happens? He sees this huge beanstalk going to the sky, so naturally, out of curiosity, he walks up the beanstalk, walks on the road, sees this massive castle, knocks on the door, and this big woman answers, and Jack is so hungry from all the climbing and walking and such, he says, "Ma'am, do you have some bread and some milk?" I believe it was. So she's like, "Wait a minute, you better get the heck out of here or you're going to be breakfast because my husband eats little children," which is kind of weird in and of itself. So he goes inside, she hides him in the cupboard, she gives him some bread and milk, and then of course you hear the giant come in, "Fee, fi, fo, fum." My son gets a kick out of that. He comes in, he's like, "I smell the blood of an Englishman." And she says, No, you smell the sausages that I cooked for you this morning at breakfast." So the giant wolfs down all of these sausages, and he goes to sleep. Well, I'm sorry, he wolfs down all the sausages, then he asks for his wife to bring him his sacks of gold. So the sacks of gold come in here, or sat on the table. He starts counting the gold coins. He gets so tired after the meal, he falls asleep. Jack sees an opportunity, he sees all the gold on the table, and he runs and he snatches a sack of gold and goes down the beanstalk to his mother. Now, first and foremost, what do we learn? Jack is a thief. He's a little asshole. I gotta be honest with you, it really hit me in my mind, and I'm thinking, I don't want my son to hear about, thievery, this guy stealing. So it gets even better though. So it goes down the beanstalk, goes home to his mom, and of course his mom was worried because Jack was away for so long. And she's like, "Jack, I'm so happy to see you, but I'm even happier to see this big sack of gold." And I'm thinking to myself, what are you talking about? This is Jack, your son. You should be valuing his human life over this material gold. So that's another big problem I have with the story. This whole thing repeats a couple times because they're not so good at keeping this wealth that they've acquired. So after a year, what happens is they run out of their gold coins, and this is another lesson from the story. These people squander their wealth, squander their riches. So stuff like this is very interesting because it starts as a child. It gets in your mind, these attitudes, values, beliefs, and these stories, whether you're consciously thinking about it or not. Even if you have the radio or TV on in the background and you're doing something else, this stuff is beating down in your mind, reinforcing this mass consciousness about certain things, and it really causes you to act in a certain way when you're older. Now, I'm not saying that everyone that reads Jack and the Beanstalk ends up a thief, or that squanders their wealth, or values money over relationships. I'm not saying that. I am saying, though, you have to be very, very careful what you let into your mind. Very important lesson that I just kind of, it reminded me of as I was reading that story to my son several nights ago. So I thought that was very interesting, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Maybe it's childhood stories or other books and things that you read where you thought they were good initially as you were a child, but then you grew up, you read the story, and you're like, wait a minute, what the heck is this teaching my son or my daughter? Very interesting time. So anyway, this is Matthew Loop here. If we're not connected, make sure we connect on Facebook or Instagram. My handle is @MatthewLoop on Instagram and @MatthewJLoop on Facebook. And you can also visit my website at MatthewLoop.com. I'm always here to help and support you, help you grow to that next level. But that was just an interesting lesson for the day. So have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you soon. Ciao.